From The Wire to 6 Feet Under, plenty of classic HBO shows have earned the coveted masterpiece label. Since kicking off the golden age of television with The Sopranos, HBO has been renowned as the preeminent home of prestige TV. HBO's best original programming is the gold standard for modern television. From harrowing dramas like Chernobyl to hilarious comedies like Veep, HBO has a wide variety of shows that could be described as bona fide masterpieces. 20. Sex and the City. Charlotte, Kristen Davis, and Carrie, Sarah Jessica Parker, on Sex and the City. Sex and the City was way ahead of its time in depicting independent women who weren't focused on getting married and starting a family, except Charlotte. The series subverted antiquated gender norms and presented realistically flawed characters. They didn't always make good decisions, but they always faced consequences for the bad ones. Sex and the City is sometimes funny, sometimes sad, and always engaging. 19. Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley cast directly facing the camera. Silicon Valley revolves around one of the most lovable and well-matched sitcom ensembles ever assembled, but it's a spot-on satire of the absurdity of the tech industry. The characters have a great piece of tech that would actually make the world a better place, and thanks to the cutthroat business environment they're in, they still face endless obstacles and legal setbacks. 18. Girls. Lena Dunham, Zosia Mamet, and Jemima Kirk from Girls Looking Upset. Lena Dunham's Girls is a bracingly honest, hilariously frank look at the messy lives of four 20-something women in New York City. It perfectly captured the millennial experience when it aired, and now, Girls is being rediscovered by Gen Z audiences who similarly relate to its aimless, frustrated characters. Dunham depicted the flaws and insecurities of her ensemble with a refreshing authenticity that really resonates with young viewers. 17. Watchmen. Hooded Justice, Jovan Adepo, in black and white in Watchmen. Watchmen is one of the most seminal works of literature, comics or otherwise, of the 21st century, so Damon Lindelof faced an uphill battle delivering a satisfying sequel. But, by some miracle, and a lot of hard work and a deep understanding of the source material, HBO's miniseries adaptation felt like a worthy follow-up to that subversive superhero classic. Much like Alan Moore's iconic graphic novel, Lindelof's Watchmen series mixes a dark satire of the superhero genre with the most harrowing chapters of American history. The comic imagined how the Vietnam War might have turned out, and U.S. history after the war, if America had superheroes at its disposal. The HBO series applies the same logic to the Tulsa Race Massacre. 16. Barry. Bill Hader in the Barry Season 4 finale going to get his son. The premise of Bill Hader's Barry sounds gimmicky and one-note. It's about a hitman who wants to quit the business of killing and pursue his dream of being an actor, but it's a surprisingly layered character study. It is a hilarious comedy, as you'd expect from Hader, but it's also a chilling psychological thriller inspired by the Coen brothers. 15. Big Little Lies. Nicole Kidman as Celeste Wright in Big Little Lies. Big Little Lies is a rare TV adaptation that went beyond its source material and actually added something substantial to the original story. The first season is a near-flawless page-to-screen translation of Liane Moriarty's novel, but the second season, co-written by Moriarty herself, explores the aftermath of that story in a really moving, engaging way. 14. Deadwood. Timothy Olyphant with his hair slicked back in Deadwood. David Milch brought back the TV western with a revisionist edge in his short-lived but beautifully crafted series Deadwood. Milch expertly weaves his fictional creations into a thoroughly researched historical chronicle of the titular settlement's development from a small camp into a fuller-fledged town. Deadwood might not get as much attention as shows like The Sopranos, but it's just as great. 13. The Larry Sanders Show. Gary Shandling and Jeffrey Tambor on The Larry Sanders Show. Rather than hosting a late-night show like a lot of his peers, Gary Shandling instead created a meta-sitcom imagining a version of himself who did become a late-night host. The Larry Sanders Show takes a peek behind the curtain at the wild world of late-night television, with fussy network executives, risque monologue jokes, and irate celebrity guests. Larry Sanders' self-aware look at the business of television, blurring the line between fiction and reality, went on to influence subsequent shows like 30 Rock and Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's a pitch-perfect satire of showbiz, but at its core, it's a character study contrasting Larry's affable on-air persona with the insecure wreck he is backstage. 12. I May Destroy You. Arabella, Michaela Coel, walks down the street at night in I May Destroy You. In the same vein as recent masterpieces like Baby Reindeer and Sorry, Baby, Michaela Coel's I May Destroy You is a deeply moving, brutally honest look at the trauma of assault and the struggle to move past it. Poignant performances and keenly observed writing make I May Destroy You one of the greatest TV shows ever made, and it's all tied together by razor-sharp direction. 11. Game of Thrones. Lena Headey as Cersei in Game of Thrones. Although it took a dip in quality in its last couple of seasons, Game of Thrones still holds up as a TV masterpiece. The series amassed a worldwide fan base that went far beyond fantasy enthusiasts, because it told relatable human stories within the framework of a medieval fantasy saga. It may have dragons and magic, but it also has betrayal, infidelity, and revenge. 10. The Rehearsal. Nathan talks to core in The Rehearsal. Nathan Fielder's grand return to television was an even more ambitious and elaborate experiment than Nathan For You. The Rehearsal initially set out with the premise of using very expensive, very complicated roleplay scenarios to prepare people for the most difficult situations in their lives. But it quickly evolved into something even more profound than that. In the back end of the first season, Fielder used a legion of child actors to practice fatherhood and explored the fine line between roleplay and reality. In the second season, he set his sights even higher and made painstaking efforts to improve aviation safety. Fielder's delightfully unorthodox methods make The Rehearsal, and all of his docu-comedy work, a joy to watch.